Okay, now as far as I know, I'm the only person in the entire world who is capable. It's possible to save this Earth, which is doomed in like 3.5 years, and the second person who is capable of stopping this and literally saving all of humanity is the Catholic Church representative who has been listening on this channel for 7 years and is still here today. Was definitely here today. The Holy Spirit has confirmed, and I am now negotiating directly with the Catholic Church. Okay, so this is going to end with the Catholic Church, who have always known I'm a prophet, um, you know, accepting that I'm not here to destroy the church, and I never was, and which is why I signed that contract. Remember, and get me in with the Pope ASAP for meetings, and you can televise it, whatever. The only uh, uh, condition I'm putting on that is we're going to have no prancing horses of Nineveh, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, it's jeans and t-shirt, just two guys having a chat, handshake, smiles, cordial. Obviously. Uh, let's drop all the nonsense here and get to business.
We have a world-exclusive fulfillment of Revelation 16 for the first time in history. The previous historicist fulfillment of this prophecy was a classic example of fulfilling prophecy before its time. In fact, the only way this prophecy was ever going to get fulfilled, if you actually think about it, is for God to show us three figures on the world stage that actually appear as frogs. Not only that, but during the making of this video it became apparent that these figures were in fact also linked to cannibalism, the greatest abomination to God, and why he ended it all in the days of Noah. Remember, Jesus said it would be as in the days of Noah. So here is one of the most important films you will ever see. Please share it.
The situation is that in uh, about 7 years ago, when my YouTube channel was at its pretty much at its peak, we were exposing massive amounts of stage events. It was growing really fast. I was getting comments through the comment section, which led me to believe that it was imminent that I was going to get a visit. I was expecting that. I expected obviously CIA, MI5s, some similar to that, some alphabet soup type agency people, and I was expecting the conversation to go something like, Russ, obviously we know who your father is, and we know that you're not happy, but could you you've made your point now. Can you just sort of, these are operations and we don't want to put people at risk. And, I'm a reasonable person, especially my father. My father is, I was kind of expecting to say, tut tut, shake my head. Well, at least you've been honest. Thanks for the, bothering to explain yourselves. And, yes, okay, seeing you've asked nicely. One thing I won't accept, and this is why God's picked me for this. Don't try and dominate me. Don't try and bully me. I won't accept it. And it'll all kick off. But if you approach me nicely and cordially, and I'm a very, very reasonable person. So at this time we're expecting. I'm expecting something. I'm expecting a visit. My uncle phones up, Kieran. I used to work at his shop, so he's got a jewellers in the centre of Coventry called Mercy Jewellers. Mercy Jewellers is what I used to work at. Mercy Jewellers upstairs, basically on the computers, just sort of I'm sort of a computer expert, and that's where my screen name comes from. So originally it was Mercy Jewellers, but AOL only had 9 letters, so it cut off at Mercy Jew. So I was stuck with Mercy Jew, which Paul Taylor, who SEO know very well, wanted a video saying, "Oh, he's a Jew," because no, it's just it didn't. I couldn't get jewellery out. My uncle's not a Jew; he's Irish Catholic. Okay, so my uncle says, "Is someone here for you?" I thought, okay, a strange place for it to happen. For this meeting to happen at Kieran's, but fair enough. We'll go upstairs and expect to see some CIA or MI5 bloke, and tomorrow. And I was totally taken aback, totally surprised and taken aback to see a small aging Catholic priest with his Catholic priest black and dog collar and everything. Very taken aback. Definitely didn't expect that. Even though obviously I had this event in 1982. Well, not an event, a vision and a prophecy. It's pretty obvious, really, when you think about it, that they are going to have known me all my life. So the first thing he said to me was, as far as I can remember, the first thing he said to me was, we sat down in front of the computer. My YouTube channel was in front of both of us, and he said, as far as I can remember, he said, "You know why you like that?" And then looked at all my, debunking of 322 operations, my conspiracy theories, as other people would put it. And he said, because you're a prophet. He told me he told me. So I mean, I've kept quiet up until this point of my life, and I've got a Catholic priest now sitting in front of me telling me that I'm a prophet, and they've always known I was a prophet, and that's why I'm like that. And pointing to my YouTube channel. Okay, so that was a bit of a surprise, but obviously not when you think about it. I can't remember how the conversation went too much after that, but as far as I can remember, basically the conversation obviously was to do with. Oh yes, I can. Yeah. He said, but it's not your fault. It's not your fault because you were too young to give consent. Blimey. Okay. So something to think about. So the basically they'd and then he said, and then after that he said anyway he said you know, we're not changing anything, so it's a waste of time, it's pointless, you know, God sending a prophet, because we're not changing anything. Now he said that in a very frightening way, considering, you know, this is you know, God reaching out to him and to the Catholic Church. He didn't want to know. He shut down the conversation. Not that I was ready for this sort of conversation at this point. I was, like I said, I was still taken aback. I was, you know, there was a Catholic priest there and not the CIA, and the Catholic priest was telling me, not me telling him, he was telling me I was a prophet, and that they'd already always known I was a prophet. So what the Catholic Church do, and they're well known for it, is they don't miss a trick. They, as my father said, they have the best intelligence network in the world. If a young boy is in the VIP section at the Papal Mass in 1982, and he has a vision, and all, like, the 2 or 3 rows in front of him, these are VIPs, remember, so these are important Catholics who are going to be connected to cardinals and bishops and stuff. If he has a vision, and he prophesies Chernobyl, and, you know, people write it down and write it down and write it down, 2 or 3 rows in front, and these people know bishops and cardinals. Yet the way the Catholic Church works, and you must remember, at least 50% of the people there, probably more like, you know, 80 or 90% of, you know, actually believes, you know, correctly, that I was having a vision and that an angel was speaking to me. So they were going to always going to report that to the relevant Catholic officials. Now, these people, you know, do believe in God. They believe in prophets. They believe in angels. They believe these things happen, and you know, they take them seriously. And so obviously, you know, it's not really it's such a great shock when you think about it, that I had a Catholic priest there saying, look, the reason, you know, the reason, maybe he spoke to the CIA or the MI5 people beforehand and said, look, you know, we know why Russ is like how he is. He's like how he is because he's a prophet, and this is how prophets are. You know, they're really good at seeing through deceptions, and they're highly motivated by injustice, or you know, things that they feel are not right, you know, obviously. And so, you know, and that's basically what he was saying. But as far as his I was too young to give consent thing, I've got an answer. Obviously, you need to realise, my friend, and I'm pretty sure you're listening, you need to realise that you know, God's 2 or 3 steps ahead. So if you've got a thingamajig, he's already got the answer for you, and the answer is very much related to the fact that I refused to give consent to the priest, who was everybody was, you know, yeah. So I mean, I'll talk to you about it. But you know, basically, God disagrees with you, and God made us. Okay, so if he knows, you know, maybe it's different for boys, but he knows if a 10-year-old boy is sentient enough to consent to things. But why should being a prophet need me to, you know, that implies it's a dangerous job. And now it's only a dangerous job if you make it a dangerous job. Because you know, I debated for 10 years with the Christadelphians on the Christadelphians forum, and we had vigorous arguments, vigorous theological debates, but at no point was anyone, you know, fearful of their lives or violence or anything like that. So, you know, this is the next thing I'm about to tell you. You know, calm down, because the vision I saw that day, I've only just been told, was 100% about me and about your reaction to the fact that I'm a prophet. And that includes the massive overreaction of the Pope. Remember what happened? The Pope grows larger and larger and larger and larger and fills the entire stage. That's called an overreaction. That's called something to do with the office, perhaps, of that, you know, the office of the papacy, perhaps, that causes a, you know, extreme overreaction to event. So I'm gonna flesh this out a little bit more deeply, but you must really be careful, okay? Be very careful, please, because this is literally the world depends upon you not overreacting and getting things wrong. We've already got a lot of things wrong, okay? We've got one, I didn't see Satan. Two, the Pope wasn't Satan. Three, the fact that the fact that a prophet came from the same diocese as you paid record damages for child abuse is would make it seem like perhaps I was going to come along and start bashing you for all that, and that's exactly the opposite, because what the message I've got from God is you shouldn't have paid all that money out. Those boys, and I knew this at the time, those boys were they were old enough to consent to know perfectly well what they were doing, just as I was old enough to 10 or 11 to know perfectly well what I was doing when I was saying no to the offer I had of going in there and sucking. We all, you're 10 or 11, you can consent to that, or you can't. And these boys are in the papers, and I know them. They haven't changed. I know, and they're saying that they've got schizophrenia and rubbish. Okay, so schizophrenia is caused by sucking the priest so and so, is it? That's the first one. This is just shit. Okay, they're just taking the absolute piss out of the church, out of the current zeitgeist. Okay, so you're wrong, my friend, about the age of consent. Me being too young for the age of consent, and you were wrong for paying those boys millions of pounds. I walked up to that gate just like they did, same age as them, and I said no. When it was explained to me what was going on in there, I didn't want it. Okay, and they did. Simple as that, I'm afraid. So, let's cut through the bullshit here and get straight to the point. So, there's your reply about the age of consent. So God's on your side, okay? On the Catholic Church, we are not here to bash the Catholic Church. You've got it all wrong. You've got it 100% the wrong way around. Okay, so what happens is, obviously the Catholic Church knows that this boy. So I wasn't lying for you people out there. Why don't you just believe me? Why you are finding it because these things are just too way out for you? Well, guess what? I was always telling the truth. This really did happen. It really did have a ripple effect in the VIP section. That was then reported to cardinals and bishops. They investigated it, found out that I did predict Chernobyl, that I am a prophet, therefore, and that obviously, they were destined and supposed to find out by God. Obviously, you idiots. That's what happened there. That's what happened in the VIP section of the Catholic Mass. Because they were supposed to know. They were supposed to find out. This is the kind of thing they find out. This is the kind of thing they're brilliant at. They're really good at. And that's why, in my vision, the first thing I saw, remember what I said? I said I could see these two eagle eyes looking straight at me. Right, that's them. That's them. Like I said, the vision was their reaction to me. And the guy who walked forward was the first guy who approached me. So, the Catholic Church know there is a prophet in the world. They know I'm that prophet. The vision I saw was. I'll quickly tell you, and I'll tell you again because it's very, very important and very alarming. So, I'm looking at two black eyes, two eagle eyes at the back of the stage. Okay, this is the symbol of the Catholic Church. So the black eagle, symbol of the it's basically imperial. This guy is a representative for imperial political power. Okay, so it's the imperial bird of political power. There is also a Holy Spirit, but that's not a black eagle. The black eagle is the imperial bird. So this guy he's not representing God, is representing imperial political power, which is the black eagle, and which is a symbol of the Holy Roman Empire. And he walks forward straight at me, directly at me. So he's looking at me. He knows I'm a prophet. He knows I'm a prophet. He's looking directly at me. His eyes aren't cruel. They're not cruel eyes, but they're observant eyes, wide eagle's eyes. And he comes straight at me, and he's coming at me with the golden cup. The golden cup represents the church, represents the life of the church. And as he comes at me, he's got the most frightening, arrogant attitude to me. And that was the first Catholic priest. That was the first Catholic priest who came to see me that day in the shop. Like I say, he just said, we know why you're like this. It's because you're a prophet. He told me I was a prophet. And then he said, we've always known this, and, it's not your fault because, in his opinion, like I say, I'll give you the answer for that, because you're not old enough to give consent. Shouldn't be a dangerous job. And then he said, we're not changing. We're not changing, so it's a waste of time sending a prophet. Do you want to tell your flock that? Do you want to tell your flock that you've just said that to God and to a prophet? See how they take it. We should have a bit of democracy here, a bit of openness. Or are you just going to act completely treacherously with your own people? So that's what he said, and he said it in this way that just blew my mind. Absolutely, blew my mind. I think he was getting off on it, but all this time I was being told, shut up, just shut up, don't say anything, just let him keep digging. So he's basically saying he doesn't want to. So he shut down any negotiation, even if I wasn't in the frame of mind for full negotiation. And he decided that I'd come, or they decided that I'd come to destroy the church. Okay, again, completely untrue. In fact, the exact opposite. So all of their assumptions anyway were completely incorrect. As it turns out, someone's probably reported to the Pope that I shouted the Pope is Satan that day, when I was just shouting from a Catholic cultural reference point. The Pope wasn't Satan, but the Pope was my Satan adversary, because what happened then in this vision is the priest then takes the cup for the church, which they're all protecting. They're all trying to protect the life of the church, you see, like it's this is their it's like the Godfather. They're all trying to outdo each other for loyalty to the this concept of the life of the church, which is just a massive deception, of course, because God's going to decide who the church is, and the church is made up of individual stones, as Peter tells us. It's not a visible institution. It's each one of us individually that makes up the bricks and the pebbles that make up the church. So anyway, so I'll leave that for another day. So it takes the cup to across the front and hands it to what appears to be a bunch of either cardinals or bishops, and they all huddle around this cup. They huddle around the life of the church. Now you can imagine what's happening there. They're all trying to sort of outdo each other for to prove how loyal they are, and they all conclude, presumably they conclude, that I am a major threat to this concept they have of the church. I mean, just crazy. I mean, it's just madness. But obviously they know, and this is what also needs healing. We can't have a situation where the cardinals and the bishops know they're at war with God, and yet they're convincing their flock that they're really we need to heal something here. We need some sort of healing of the consciences, because these people then turn to the Pope and hand him the cup and offer their advice about me. This is all about me. So they're saying, they're offering their advice about, they're going to tell the Pope there's a prophet in the world, and the Pope immediately grows this black eagle. Remember what I said, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger until it fills the entire stage, and then his eyes, I look at his eyes and they're really cruel. Okay, so this is a massive overreaction to me as a prophet. Now remember, I'm a 10-year-old child who is basically, I'm in love with the Pope. I'm a 10-year-old who's come to see the Pope. And I'm seeing this in front of me, and and it's the most horrific. You can't understand it. I'm here as a peacemaker. I'm here as someone. My grandmother's next to me. She's a Catholic. I love her more than anyone I love in the world. I'm not. I'm being so unfairly misrepresented and so cruelly treated and misrepresented as a prophet, that I'm seeing the Pope grow into this huge great big monster, Black Eagle monster with really cruel eyes, and behind him the 322 people, of course, applauding my suppression or my okay. So this is really, really urgent. This is supposed to be a message to you. So I know for a fact there's a Catholic representative listening. I know for the Holy Spirit's told me you're listening. You've got to get a message to the Pope that there's been a big misunderstanding. That I'm not here for these reasons. It's all positive. It's all positive as we can hope for it to be. Given that none of us are perfect, okay? More later.